But what did he mean by fun?
Oh, what did he mean by fun?
Because fun, as I understand it, ordinary English, it's just very simple words, have fun.
He's okay, but the fun comes in all flavors.
What's that?
Chocolate, vanilla, I might have fun doing something that you think is crazy.
What is, but, like, to get up in the middle of the night is not really fun. No, so what's how...
Well, the goal was ultimately fun, because he saw that people got stuck in their life, and that being in that same room that they were in was part of being stuck. So so it would be more fun once they broke through, but it wasn't fun at that very moment.
Yeah. Maybe it's some kind of enlightenment, what he mean by that. What do you think? Like bliss?
I don't know, because I think that people have all different definitions of fun, and I think that was one of the things that about the community that didn't work for me. Some of those women that I lived with, their idea of fun was to fuck as many guys as they could, and see if they could steal one, and compete with all the other women. They thought that was fun, and that was so not fun for me. It was, and I wasn't interested in that, and didn't want to live with that.
So, but is Victor had any definition of fun, or at least image of what should be final goal? What is achieved fun?
I think he left that open to interpretation, and that's one of the problems. And I think that at the Lafayette community, they have more respect for each other because they've had to be able to stay together. The Atlanta community fell apart, and you could tell it was going to fall apart because they didn't have mutual respect and regard and all of that. But they do in Lafayette. They do have that. There's a core group of somewhere around 60 people that really are like family.
60. Okay, still about fun. You might remember in Stanislav Grof theory that there is a first matrix experience when it's a pure pleasure, like relaxation, something really tasty, warm, when it's natural. Or there is a kind of victory when I overcome some difficulties, gone through, I was suffering, I was trying to find, and finally I get it. And it also kind of pleasure, but on another level.
Right.
And during the process, I haven't been very pleased when I was suffering of something. Like they gone to San Francisco while they were going, and they get lots of experience with which probably in the moment wasn't fully fun.
Sometimes it was fun, but sometimes
it wasn't.
Not. Yeah. But finally they get something.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
Right. Okay, so I just got it. Okay, so in that case, what they would say if I were complaining, if I had been in San Francisco and I'd been on the street with no money trying to get money, and I was and I wanted to complain about it, what they would have said to me is, well, it's on you, figure out a way to enjoy it.
No, this is not about complaining. This is about like, what for I will go to San Francisco? Then mainly I would definitely suffer. Maybe there will be some fun, but maybe not. But definitely I will have a suffer.
Right.
Right?
Well, if you decide to, it's your choice.
So it's not, I didn't make a decision yet, but I am in the process of making a decision. So I'm thinking, definitely suffer, fun, maybe not. So in this case, according to the ideology which you describe, I shouldn't go to San Francisco, right? Because there is no guarantee of the fun, and there is a guarantee of the suffering.
The only person who can guarantee your fun is you.
Right.
And if you decide that it's fun, it's fun.
If I decide that it's not fun.
If you decide it's not fun, it's not fun.
But I don't know what will happen. Maybe I will freeze on the street. Maybe I've been beaten. You know, something, everything can happen, right? So, in order, if I train myself in order to overcome the difficulties, I can put myself in a new situation in order, you know, to evolve or develop some qualities. But if I just want fun, will I go somewhere without guarantee for the fun?
Okay, so that's a good point. So these people live in a very small world.
You mean the community?
Yes.
Okay.
They prefer it that way, and that's another reason I don't live in the community, is because but they prefer to keep it safe and small and enjoy their life in the way that they choose, and not put themselves in situations that are going to challenge them, or that they might get hurt, or they might get,
right.
You know.
So no challenging.
Well, not enough for me.
Not enough for you.
Right, but for them, I mean, it's very challenging in certain ways, because it's about ever expanding pleasure, going for more
And where is
pleasure.
the challenge going for more pleasure?
Well, there is a challenge in that.
Where is the challenge?
They're very into sensual pleasure, and into like some of their women can come for 3 hours, and non-stop for 3 hours. So they know that that's true. They know that that can happen because
How do you define this? This
contraction, vaginal contraction.
Vaginal contraction for 3 hours.
For 3 hours. I mean, not everybody wants to do that, right?
Okay.
But some of their women can do that.
Do you?
No, not 3
No.
hours.
For how long?
An hour.
An hour.
But I don't do it very much, but I can do it. I do know how to do it.
Because from the experience.
I got trained by them to do that.
Okay, and where is the challenge in that?
The challenge is to let yourself have that, and to stay out of your head, and to let it. It's like any kind of energy work. It's moving energy through the body, and it's a very cleansing thing. It's a really great thing to do for your body, and for your mind and everything. It just is really
Like in breathwork.
like in breath work.
But you know, in breathwork, I understand that I'm breathing first, and then I'm working with attention. So, and you know, I have kind of intention to go through something. So altogether, I can go to the process. And in this case, what do you or they do?
Well, it all starts in your head. Just, you know, it's intention.
What's intention?
The intention to let yourself have it, to say yes to that stroke, yes to that moment. Yes, let yourself have that sensation, and then go for more, and just keep opening to it.
My doubt is that orgasm is usually what is happening by itself.
Yes, I agree.
So I don't need to do something, like I do something before it, and then it's happening by itself.
Right, that's how most people think about orgasm.
Okay, how do you think these people?
These people have learned a technique that has that bang, 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 over the top thing not be the goal. It's the goal is to take this ride, to just be on the ride and let the ride take you, and just not go for that over the top orgasm. And what they discovered is that it's better. And I like both, but I think that it really moves energy, and it's really satisfying to just take that ride.
The classic sex theory will have a kind of graphic.
Right.
Right. And according to this, there is a period when people are working on this.
Right. They're building up. As a
Building
build
up.
Right.
Yeah. and then they get an orgasm as a result,
Right.
like fourth matrix of growth. So, which has happened by itself. So,
Right.
do you?
Yeah, it's more like instead of wah, wah, like it's more like wah, wah, peaks and valleys for a long time.
Then maybe this peak is not orgasm, as they explained me during this first training. So they explained the peaks, but they said keep it, then push it a little down.
Yes.
And have a peak. So this peak is not orgasm.
Right.
It's getting close to it.
Yes.
But then.
Yes. So you peak yourself so that you can come up higher the next time. So it's deliberately letting it come to a certain place and then taking it back down, so that next time you peak, it'll come up higher, like that. So it's a technique.
But then orgasm at the end, or it's
No
already-
no, not necessarily. Now it could happen, but not necessarily.
Пики вот эти, которые нас начали учить. То есть они не кончают.
What do you mean by 3 hours? What they do during 3 hours?
This wave.
You mean
Ну, как я
sex
понимаю,
and
это
valleys.
кончать.
Oh, manual stimulation. No, manual stimulation. They have a man. Well, it could be a woman too. Whatever. Stimulating the clitoris. And the goal of that too is for the man to take the ride with the woman, or the partner to take the ride with
Together.
Together.
Like experience the same
experience the same thing
through empathy.
through the sharing of the energy. And I've experienced that too, and that's really yummy.
And it's not possible through ordinary sexual intercourse.
It's just a different thing, and I think many of those people have all of it. You know, it's not like they don't have intercourse, and it's not like they don't have quickies, and it's not like they don't have over the top, but they do it all. Vic knew that if they was going to have a bunch of people living together, he was going to have to handle sex. And so he knew that if women walked around too messed, horny, whatever, they weren't going to get along with each other, and they weren't going, that tumescence had to be handled.
Перевозбуждение, они рассказывали
Типа
о
нужно.
циклах, как это горячие, как это даже с животными, с течкой у самок сравнивали.
В смысле, что нужно женщине удовлетворяться,
Да,
чтобы...
да, неудовлетворенные. Желающие.
So this.
So he wanted to satisfy the woman in order the community live in a good life
Well,
together.
it started with his wife. He wanted to make sure that she was having a good time sexually, and she wasn't. She wasn't getting off. She wasn't having orgasms. They had 2 children, and she wasn't having orgasms. And so that's where he started his research right there, was to figure out how to please her.
And finally,
And then he extended that to the community, and
so he achieved with his wife.
Yes.
And she changed the mood somehow.
Oh yeah, she got nicer.
Did you experience that?
Oh yeah.
Or you just know?
Personally.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm much nicer when.
Сьюзи or Cindy?
Susie was the first one.
First,
Yeah.
But then they divorced anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Why
She
is
didn't want to be married to him. Once he became like Mr. God or whatever, she was over it. She's a very private person. Well, so is Cindy. They're both very private people. But Cindy could handle it more.
So they achieved the orgasm as he wanted, and still they divorced.
They're still best friends. They were best friends. She
Yeah,
just
so
didn't want to be
she-
married to him. And they always had sex with other people too. So they.
Yeah,
it
community is.
Was, yes,
just like-
that's right.
So community is for having sex with other people. This is the main
Can
idea.
be. I mean,
Yeah,
for
I
me, when
And
I.
how you understand it.
I don't think it's that. I think it isn't that way. And certainly these people have all gotten old now. When they started this when they were in their 20s, and now they're my age and older. A lot of them, they're not still doing what they did in their 20s. They're really more like family. But they had some pretty wild times.